All right, so looking pretty good here, right? We got our template open. We're in Illustrator. HSB sliders are going, and yeah, it looks good. So first thing we're going to do is, I don't know, let's try a tetrad. Seems good. And that's pretty much where we need to start. Now, tetrad's pretty simple. You need to have two sets of complementary hues. That's one way to look at it. If we plot it on a color wheel, two sets of complementary hues are going to give us a rectangle or a square, depending on how you do it. So let's just start with red. And now we know that the complement of red, of course, is 180 because it's 180 degrees away from it. And I'm going to stick that right there. Although, you know, just for convenience sake, let's stick it right there. And then, I don't know, let's say our next one is 60. So our next color would be 60. And then the complement of 60 is 240. So these are going to be our hues that we start with. Now we know that we need to have a good range, a broad range of saturation, value, and hue. So hue is already taken care of. So now we need to work on saturation and value. Now if we look at our depth assignment from a couple weeks ago, we know that some of the cool colors, maybe those are the ones that we want to have darker and duller, and maybe the warm colors are the ones that we want to have lighter and brighter. So I'm going to stick with that. I'm going to start with that blue here. And I'm going to go with tones of blue. Let's see what this looks like. Not hugely different. So maybe we're going to go there. Maybe we'll try that. And maybe even a little darker on that one. And at least at first, you're just going to be eyeballing it. Like, there's no real science to this. We do want this to be, you know, I don't want this to be totally black. So maybe that looks a little too dark. Maybe there. So it's got just a little bit of a hue to it. Now this yellow here, we said we want maybe the yellow to be brighter and lighter. So we'll start with that pure yellow that we've got there. And you know, I'm gonna go with a little bit lighter. Now you can't really do too much with yellow though, because if you get, you know, too much towards white, it ends up just looking white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try sticking a tone in there too. Now, it's not going to look pretty. I don't think a tetrad is going to look pretty if it's going to be functional. So, you know, we'll just sort of wing it and see what it looks like. Now, cyan, that's a really cool color, so let's try going dark and dull on that one too. Like maybe in there. Okay. Maybe there. So that looks pretty good. You know, it goes dark and dull, sure. Now red, that's going to be an interesting one, because if red starts off too bright, or if it goes too light, it ends up getting dull. So I don't know, maybe we just kind of play with it and try throwing in a couple different colors. And then maybe we go with a tone of red. Something like that. Okay, so to me, that looks pretty good. We can select it. We can go up to Object, or sorry, Edit. Where are you? Edit Colors, and Convert to Grayscale. Let me look at that. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, do I see that we have good low-key values? Yeah, I'd say so, definitely. There's 5, maybe even 6 there that look distinctly low-key. Do we have good intermediate values? Yeah, there's like 5 right in there. And do we have good high-key values? Yeah, sure. That one's a little intermediate, but I see some high-key values there as well. So that looks pretty good. Now, I would say, you know, looking at that, I would call that done. Now, it isn't the most pretty selection of colors, but it's going to be functional. We have really bright hues over here. We have really dull hues over here. We have light, we have dark, so that gives us good range.